Hey everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks so much for joining us on a Monday night. We got a couple great concerts coming to Michigan this coming weekend, Friday, February 16th in Muskegon, Michigan, and Saturday, February 17th in Grand Rapids. And you're going to hear some fabulous country music, and I've got one of the two people that are going to be at the show on the air with me tonight. We're going to talk about the concert and a little bit about what's going on with them. It's a pleasure, as always, to have one of the greatest songwriters in country music, Bobby Tomberlin. Bobby, how you doing tonight?
You know what? I'm doing really, really good. Thank you so much for having me back on your show. It's been a great day, and wrote a song with Whispering Bill Anderson, your friend, who's been on your show
man, that's
many
great.
times, and that's always a great time, to get to visit and not only catch up with what's going on recently, but also hearing some great stories. He always has some great stories. Today he was talking about when he first came to town, how he traveled in a car with Patsy Cline to show dates. That was right before the buses really kicked in. Yeah. And that just blows me away, to think he was here for that part of the country music, history, and then here he is today, still chasing it, still writing songs and doing the Opry. So how cool!
I think that's wonderful. Yeah, he's still very productive. He's put out fantastic music here in the last couple of years, and still writing. And as you said, on the Opry, and I think that's fabulous. He is one of the last of the living link to that whole era of country music from the 50s and 60s.
Oh, I know. And by the way, thank you for playing a couple of his recent records that I co-wrote, the Dolly Parton duet with Bill, Someday It'll All Make Sense, and then the song that's out right now with Bill, Willie Nelson, Bobby Bear, Jimmy Fortune, and Vince Gill. It's called The Country I Grew Up With. And there's actually a lyric video going to be released in just a couple of weeks, so be on the lookout for that. But thank you I'll speak for him too. Thanks for playing those songs.
Well, it's my honor. They're fabulous country music, so I'm going to play them. And that was a pretty stellar lineup. Just in the I didn't even need to hear the song, but I saw the list of people on it. I'm like, okay, well that's going on the air.
Can you believe that? I mean, I honestly could not believe that lineup. I mean, it would be a dream, of course, just to get one of those guys on a song, but to have the great Bobby Bear, as a part of it, and then Willie, all of them, Jimmy, Vince, and then you got Bill as the kind of the centerpiece of the song. So
that's great. You've had some fabulous people record your music, and I know you've gotten to hang around. I love, if you listen to your song, I've lived country music. I mean, that kind of tells it all. You've worked with so many of the great ones, and Mel Tillis and Conway and Eddie Arnold.
Part two, I guess.
Yeah, really, that's for sure. Well, you've got a couple of shows coming up here in Michigan, as I mentioned, with the beautiful and talented Tess Frizzell. And Friday, February 16th, 7 p.m. at Reese Puffer High School in Muskegon, Michigan. It's to benefit the Muskegon firefighters. And Saturday, February 17th, also a 7 p.m. show at the Northview High School Auditorium in Grand Rapids, and that is to benefit the Plainfield Township Firefighters Union. And WolverineProductions.org is the website. You can also call 1-800-810-7410. Tickets are still available there, and you can get tickets at the door as long as they're still available. You're going to see some wonderful country music from not only one of the greatest songwriters, Bobby Tomberlin, but Tess Frizzell, who is descended from two families of country music royalty, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? It's such a fun show. And for the listeners who do not know, Tess is the daughter of Shelley West, who had Jose Cuervo, and You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma with David. And her grandmother, of course, was Dottie West. And then her uncles are Lefty Frizzell and David Frizzell. And her dad is Alan Frizzell, who has written hit songs for people like Gene Watson and also has a country gospel career. But we just have a lot of fun. We bring a lot of history to the show, like Tess will tell stories about her grandmother, or maybe I'm just going to use this as an example, talk about the night Chris Christopherson wrote Help Me Make It Through the Night at Dottie's house. And then we're going to do some of the Kenny Rogers, Dottie West duets, like Every Time Two Fools Collide. we're going to do You're the Reason God Made Oklahoma. And then she's carrying on her family tradition, and she's going to be doing songs, like That's the Way Love Goes, her version of it that her Uncle Lefty wrote, and plus songs that she's written, and she's recording a brand new album right now in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And then I'll be doing stuff like, a song I wrote for Diamond Rio, One More Day, and songs I've written for people like Dolly Parton and Willie Nelson and different ones. And I also love to throw in some country classics like some Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Hank Williams. So it's quite a variety, and it's fun. It's just a nice little escape from the crazy world, and we're just going to look at it like we're going to be in one big living room, and just it's intimate. And we'll be telling the stories behind the songs, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I love Michigan. I talk about it a lot to people. I've played many shows up there through the years, all over the state, and I've just come to love the people. I love the landscape. I love those little towns in Michigan, too.
You bet. It's a beautiful country for sure. A lot of good country music fans, and I know they're going to be looking forward to that. Again, you can go to wolverineproductions.org is their website, or call 1-800-810-7410 to get your tickets. We will have all that information on our Facebook page for My Kind of Country. And Bobby Tomberlin's website is bobbytomberlinmusic.com, and Tessa's website is tessfrizzell.net. So we will put all that information on our Facebook page and check those out. And Tess is also just a wonderful artist, and she's done some fantastic portraits. And I'll tell you, she has just got well, I guess she comes by it honestly from having so much background of talent, so she's got it.
And you know what's interesting too, and a lot of people have said this in the business, it's like she's been blessed. Her voice is a mix between her grandmother Dottie and her mom Shelley, and then a little bit of her own thing, but it's a really interesting combination. And Scott, I can't wait for you to hear some of the new music that she's recording.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I hope we can get her on the show and do a feature on it, and we certainly love The Wrong One, which I know you had a hand in as well. That's a fabulous song.
Well, thank you. That's a song, that her grandmother Dottie started back in the 60s, and Shelley found all of these notebooks, and Ron Harmon from the Hall of Fame reached out to me and said, man, go through these notebooks. And Tess had really started beginning, to write. And so we took one of those ideas and we finished it, and it was her last single. So it's kind of cool keeping her memory alive.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I know Jeannie Seeley recorded one of those songs, too, on her latest album that had been started by Dottie, too.
That's right. A song called If You Could Call It That, and another song that was in the notebook that Dottie had started in the 60s, and then Steve Warner and I finished it, and I thought it was only right for him to be a part of it since Dottie discovered him, and he was in her band, wrote for her publishing company in his early years, and it was quite a trip actually to be a part of both of those songs and see my name beside Dottie West.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I love about your writing, and you really pay attention and revere the history of country music and those people that got us where we are today, and yet you're bringing a fresh perspective to it, and I really applaud you for your songwriting. I think you're honestly one of the greater songwriters that we have in our business today.
Well, thank you. That means so much from you, being, who you are. I respect you, and for you to say that means a lot, and I do. I love the history. I love the groundwork that these legends have, laid, and I do believe we should respect them and try to, I'm not one of those guys. I didn't come here like, okay, I want to go totally rock and roll. I want to do pop only. You can't, it's in me. It's in my heart, and I'm true country.
That's wonderful. I know that Barbara Streisand and Willie did a duet on one of your songs too, and I don't know. We've talked about that.
I have to laugh right when I say I'm true country, and then you say,
and then I bring up Barbara Streisand. I know, but I guess it just goes to show that sometimes the music just kind of transcends the genres, and it's a beautiful song.
The reality is, she did the duet with Willie Nelson. She was wanting a country song for her duet record, and she requested steel guitar. And she recorded the same song first time out with Blake Shelton, and then recorded it for another project with Willie. But yeah, talk about a surprise. I mean, I'm that kid down in Alabama that's thinking about Loretta Lynn or Connie Smith, you know, and then Barbara Streisand records one of my songs. But her husband, I'm told, is a big country music fan, loves George Strait and different country artists. So,
well, you know, a lot of artists really, you know, they really love country music, and you hear about that. I was watching I was at one of those big shows that they had with Elton John and Bernie Taupin. They gave them a tribute on there, and Bernie Taupin came, I think it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They put Bernie Taupin in there, and he came out, and one of the first things first people he thanked was Merle Haggard. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. And I read his book, and he talks a lot about Merle Haggard and Lefty Frizzell in that book, and how influenced he was by them. Yeah, and I was quite surprised by that. But after I listened to some of his music and the lyrics, you know, there are some real country tinges in there. Some lyrics that are more on the countryside. So I thought that was pretty cool. So there's a far reach for country music in a lot of artists in the whole entire business.
That is true. It really is.
So, Bobby, I know you haven't had a new album out for a while. Are you working on some solo stuff at all?
I am. I'm writing songs. You know, it's funny. Of course, I write for other artists, and I've been so blessed. I mean, some of the people include like Barbara Streisand, Blake, Faith Hill, Kenny Rogers, little Jimmy Dickens, Willie. I mean, just I've been so blessed, but along the way, I'm always, when the inspiration really hits and it's just the right idea and it's really so me, I love to hold them back. And when I get an album's worth, you know, I'll go in. I've actually already cut 2 or 3 things, but no, I'm always, you know, thinking about that next project. I'm not one of those guys that's going to just churn out one every year. You know, I'm going to wait till it's right, and it's just a complete project that really represents me and no filler material, you know.
That's great. Well, looking forward to it. Keep me posted, and we're always happy to get your music on the air here at My Kind of Country. And again, I'd like to invite our listeners to catch one or both of these fabulous shows that are coming up. Friday, February 16th, 7 p.m., Reeds Puffer High School, Muskegon, Michigan, and Saturday, February 17th at the Northview High School Auditorium in Grand Rapids. And that's to help out our firefighters here in Michigan. And WolverineProductions.org is the website. Again, we'll have all that information on our Facebook page. We are big supporters of those fabulous country music shows that they put on all throughout the state every year. So make sure you go catch this fabulous show with Bobby Tomberlin and Tess Frizzell.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get back up there. I mean, I don't say that about everywhere I go. It's been a while. It's been a couple of years since I've even been in Michigan, so I'm really excited to see so many friends that I've made over the last 15 years when I've been in the state, and I've heard from so many people, you know, telling me they're going to be coming, and we always meet and greet everyone after the show. We don't go run and hide. We just look forward to it.
That's great. Looking forward to it. All right. Well, Bobby, thank you. We're going to play some of your music, and we're going to play Tessa's beautiful song. Just want to thank you again for taking the time. I know you're busy, and I appreciate you taking time to be on My Kind of Country, as always, my friend.
Always. Your kind of country is my kind of country.
All right. That's Bobby Tomberlin. Here's some fabulous music. Some of these songs you're going to hear at the concert for sure. The Wrong One, Tess Frizzell, and some beautiful music from Bobby and some that he wrote for other artists too as we continue with My Kind of Country. Bobby, thanks again.
You bet.
It's not easy to smile when you've been crying and pretend like everything's okay when inside you're dying. It's so hard to feel loved when you're lonesome. Things will never feel right when you're with the wrong one. Time hasn't done a single thing to make us better. Just steals away all of the dreams of a love that really matters. We're both gonna come up short in the long run, but things will never feel right when you're with the wrong one. The wrong one will bring you down, stand in the way of a good thing coming around. And you can't let the right one in, tied to someone on the losing end. Sooner or later it's all gonna come unwound. I've been one of them hell-bent on staying. You know